So, hey guys, welcome back. Ponderings from Palm Coast. I'm Mark Webb. Today is Monday, the 2nd of June. It's June already. Oh my God. So, a couple things to bring up to make you aware of. We have a first Friday, which is on the 6th at Flagler County at the park from like 5 to 8. There'll be music, and please come and attend. We'll have a Democratic booth. Republicans will have a booth. It's an exciting time. Great music. The second thing is on Saturday, we'll have the Flagler Pride Festival that's going to be over at the city park. And there'll be booths and activities and things that are going on. So please come and attend that. Also on Saturday the 14th, the Democrats will be having a No Kings rally at 2 locations. One is at the Target on 100. The other one is on Palm Coast Boulevard and Old Kings in that center. It's from 11 to 12. Bring your sign, bring your American flags. Please take the opportunity to let people know that liberal and Democrats are strong and getting stronger every day in our city and in our county. So with that, I wanted to let you know I have a special guest today. She is the chair of Flagler Indivisible. Her name is Sandi Sites, and she's awesome and has a lot to share. So with that, I will see you on the other side. Well, hi guys. Welcome back to Ponderings from Palm Coast. I'm Mark Webb, and today we have an exciting guest that is going to share some phenomenal things that are going on in our city and things that you may not even know. So Sandi Sites, thanks so much for coming and visiting. First, tell us a little about you, Sandi. What brought you to Palm Coast?
The winters in Pennsylvania brought me to Palm Coast.
Absolutely.
My mother's family's from Lake City, so we've been to Florida every summer since I was a kid. And when I retired from the Liquor Control Board in Pennsylvania, after 35 years, I decided that I wanted someplace warm to be. And my sister agreed. So we moved here in 2009.
Into Palm Coast?
Into Palm Coast.
Oh, my.
Yes. So I've been here 17 years. And like I said, I worked for the Liquor Control Board as a wine and spirit buyer at the end, is what I was for 35 years. So that's what brought me here.
In Pennsylvania, the Liquor Control Board, the liquor's controlled.
Exactly.
Like what I'm used to in North Carolina with ABC ruled,
Oh, okay.
and it's all run by the state, priced by the state.
Exactly.
And everything here.
Exactly.
Well, that's amazing. So today, you want to share with us something that you're heavily involved with,
Yes.
and that's Indivisible.
Indivisible, yes.
So I know very little about it. I'm excited to hear you talk about the things that they're doing. So
Okay.
share. What's happening?
Well, a little bit of history about Indivisible. It was formulated in 2016 after the election, and it was formulated by a couple of congressional staff members who wanted to put forward a resistance or an opposition to the way they thought that Trump was going to run things during his administration. Well, first of all, Indivisible is a result of basically the Women's March the Indivisible Flaglers. We started Indivisible after the Women's March.
So the Women's March, you're talking about the one that was up in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
after Trump got elected. And it's like following up the Million Man March, and then the women got involved.
Mm-hmm.
And so Indivisible was kind of a woman's effort initially, or did it cover everything?
Well, it wasn't actually, it started out as a women's initiative in Flagler anyhow, because
Okay.
the two people who started it as congressional staffers from DC were a man and a woman.
Mm-hmm.
But in Flagler, Diane LeBrun Becker was the instigator to set up our group. And the first meeting was in February of 2017 at the African American Cultural Center. There were about 100 people there.
Wow, that's good.
It was a good, and a lot of them were women, because a lot of them met during the Women's March in DC and afterwards, because so many of us that went didn't know each other until we came back to Flagler County.
Sure.
And then we got in touch, and a lot of it was through Facebook. People were reaching out and saying, were you there? What happened? How was it? And then Diana, bless her heart, she and Chelsea Hawk and Deb Brogren were the first three members of that got this started. And as I said, they have the meeting at the African American Cultural Center. And at that point, everybody that wanted to signed up. She had the information from Ezra Levin, who was one of the people who started it, as far as what they were looking for. And what they are looking for is a non-partisan, progressive, liberal response to what Trump was doing in 2016 and is doing again now.
Well, a lot of people don't remember because our memories are short. But one of the biggest and scariest things was his commitment of the attack on abortion, which he was successful, which motivated a lot of women. And that Women's March was a goal to try to organize and to get that done. So now you're in Flagler, you're in Palm Coast, you've got a lot of interest in it.
We did, and we were surprised to a degree, because Flagler's not known as a progressive, democratic, liberal kind of county. So we were surprised to get as much interest as we did. And we also reached out to everybody close by. And a lot of the people from Volusia came up to our meetings. We've done postcard. We've done postcards with Tony, the Democrat, who is a Democrat, but they fell into our cause. They fell into our cause and had people all over the nation writing postcards on behalf of liberal and progressive candidates, even if it wasn't in your own state. Over the years, we've done over 10,000 postcards, and they were self-funded. We solicited stamps from people. We bought the postcards from either Vistaprint or Tony, the Democrat himself. He put them out on eBay and Etsy and all that. And so we've got together at Panera mostly. There for a while, there was a free trade center in Palm Coast, and they allowed us to meet in their meeting room, along with the Democratic Women's Club, and we did our postcards there. So, and we're starting that up again, actually, on the 10th of June. We're meeting at Panera on Route 100 at 1:30 to do a postcard for Signs of Justice is the group that provided the cards, and they have us writing to our congressional people.
So the postcards aren't going to voters.
No,
they're
not this
actually
time.
going to sitting council members and House representatives and senators,
Exactly.
telling them what
Yes.
we all are actually upset about.
Exactly. It has a graphic on the front that says, like 70% of the people were in favor of a road to citizenship.
Right.
Like so many percentage, I mean, it's all over 70%, so many protection of the right to abortion, and several other causes that we feel passionately about. So we're going to, and I think there'll be a good turnout.
I think
So
it's a great
far.
idea, sure.
So far,
People
so
are
good.
looking for ways to help, which is, I hear all the time, is, what, I don't like it. What can I do? Where can I get involved? So where can people get involved?
The postcard writing program is going to be at Panera on Route 100 on June 10th, which is a Tuesday at 1:30. And we're hoping people show up with stamps.
That's good to know.
And please purchase something at Panera because they're kind enough to let us do this.
Absolutely. So what else going on?
Okay, well, this Saturday, June 7th, 1 to 6, is Pride Fest in Town Center. We're going to have a table and a canopy there. This will be our first event. We have a brand new canopy, which is blue and white, and a table and a banner, and we're excited about having people come out and say hello to us and find out what we're about, and join our Facebook page and come out to some of the events that we're going to be putting on. We're doing on June 14th at 11 o'clock on Route 100 at Target, and also at Old Kings on Palm Coast Parkway. We're doing a sign waving for No Kings. It's a nationwide effort to let Trump know that it may be his birthday, but we're not interested in celebrating that. We want him to listen to the people that voted. Not everybody voted for him, and not everybody that voted for him is interested in him taking over the way he has been and just running roughshod over what's going on in D.C. and the people who are losing their jobs. The national parks are being decimated. They have no rangers to control the public. They're having to shut down and reduce services. The CDC, are you kidding me? That's something that you cannot mess with. We have another variant of COVID coming around. We can't not address that.
So you had mentioned
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I just want to make sure you had mentioned your Facebook page.
Right.
Where can I find that? And what is it called? Because I know from what I know is there are many versions of Indivisible out there. There's the national and then the Florida and the Flagler. So how can they find Flagler's Facebook page?
Okay, Flagler Indivisible Facebook page is called Indivisible Flagler.
Okay.
There are over several thousand Facebook pages on the different ones. We have a Flagler or Facebook Volusia, St. John's, District 6. I mean, all of those would be informative, but if you want to go to ours, it's Indivisible Flagler. And you can find out what our events are, what we're talking about. You can make comments and suggestions and ask questions of us. At this point, it's only me answering, so just bear with me. It's going to take a little while for me to get back to you. And
well, that's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah,
Having people knocking on the door often. I think I'm a big believer in starting now early, building toward what we know inevitably is going to be a huge conversation over the next 18 months before the November election. So so Sandi, there's so many different issues going on, and resistance is really what I found to be a strong message within the Indivisible. What specific areas have you guys really been working hard on that people can appreciate their efforts and I think successes in some of those that some don't see it, but I saw it as a success in your efforts. You want to share any of those?
Well, one of the most important things that we were concerned about, being that most of us were women, was the abortion issue. Abortion is health care. It's not birth control. And to have them take abortion services away from women after having them for 50 years was a big slap in the face to all of us. And it's been very scary to see how people have been affected by that over the last several months. It's been awful. There's a woman now who's in a coma who is being kept alive because...
Up in Georgia, yeah.
Being kept alive to bear her baby, who has a very limited chance of being able to live on its own at this point anyhow. But they just refuse to allow the doctors to be involved. They refuse to allow the family to have a say in it, and they're just keeping her alive. And they are going to have to pay for the medical costs of that, the family. It's, I don't see any Republicans coming up there with a checkbook to help out, but...
No.
So, yeah, the abortion issue, birth control. They're not allowing people to use the medical birth control that's not abortion pill. It's not birth control, but it's a less invasive way of terminating a pregnancy that's not going to be viable. And they are starting to turn their sights on birth control as well. And it's not something that's anybody's business but the woman and her husband or boyfriend or whoever, and maybe the doctor, but certainly not some Republican in the Congress, that's for sure.
Well, these are all real issues, and they're happening every day, and Indivisible is hopefully a central location that's communicating to those things that are going around that people may not even know or be aware of.
Mm-hmm.
I know that in the birth control effort, a lot of people don't realize that the state of Florida had more yes votes than any other state in the entire country, and yet we were the only ones that lost the vote because our Republican supermajority changed, and they're continuing to attack that process, changed it to 60%. And we were just a little bit below that, or it would have passed. So
It
now
was definitely a majority. It was just didn't
clearly.
meet their 60%.
Exactly. So what other passions can you share that people may possibly be interested in or want to get motivated and be aware of this opportunity to participate?
Okay, well, there's another thing that we are interested in is the immigration issue. In Florida, being that we're a peninsula, the Border Patrol is responsible for the entire state because the borders go in from the coasts and just cover the entire state. There was the last term that Trump was in, there was a unaccompanied minors detention center in Homestead, Florida, which was formerly a military base.
Yeah.
And we went down there several times to witness with a group called Witness at the Border that Joshua Rubin started as a lone person who went down with a camper and started talking and looking and finding out what was going on. He started in Texas. He came over to Florida with us several times. Like I said, I went down 2 separate times, and some of the other women went as well, different times, to witness. They had a barrier up that you couldn't see over the fence, so we put up ladders so that we could see over the fence, and we held signs in Spanish saying that we are here, we see you, we're trying to help. And eventually that institution shut down, but we don't know. Others may have popped up that we're not sure about. We don't know where all the children are that were taken from There are families, because they didn't keep track of them like they should have. There are several hundred, if not more, children in the United States who have been separated from their families since then, since 2017, and still are. They still are separated from their families, and that's just not, that's immoral. That's disgusting.
So present day, what, obviously the undocumented immigrant issue in Florida, in Flagler County, even with our own sheriff's department assisting with ISIS. Are you guys involved with that? I know recently there was an effort to inform people that here in our own Flagler County jail was a family of undocumented immigrants that had been swept up and were in the jail with no, the jail had no facilities on being able to take care of a whole family, a mother and a couple of children. And I had heard that people were going down there and attempting. Were you guys exposed to that, or were you involved with that?
We were not involved in that. When there was another protest at Daytona International Airport against a airline company who was contracted to take undocumented aliens to different places that ICE wants them to go to, and people have been showing up down there just to protest that they would do that kind of thing. I know there are other folks like 50501 Flagler that Vicki Haley's involved with. They were down at the airport to protest that. They've been instrumental in bringing the attention to that kind of thing as well. And we work with them. We're trying to get more involved in a coalition between Indivisible Flagler, 50501 Flagler with Vicki, and the Democrats. Jill Augustin Scott is one of the women that I'm in contact with, and the Democrats are having a booth at the Pride Festival, and I'm not sure if Vicki is or not. I would assume so.
Right.
But
your website, the Facebook page, and those are great places. One of the things I'm hearing from people is they hear things after the fact. I guarantee you, after the 7th, we'll hear people going, well, I didn't know there was something going on down at the city park on for the Pride Festival and other organizations. So I know that all the, all the people like yourself, groups like yourself, are trying, and that's part of what I'm trying to do here, is to inform and get people to realize tomorrow, next week, the week after, there are things going on that you can volunteer, you can get involved with, you can wave signs or postcards like what you guys are doing.
Exactly.
It's just phenomenal, and it's needed, desperately needed. We need to be seen and heard, and we need to show resistance. So what else is going on that you want to share today about Indivisible Flagler that you think that people need to know?
Well, you need to know that we need more members. We need more involved members. You can contact me through Flagler Indivisible or Sandi Sites on Facebook. I could use some help with developing posters. There's a free, I'm so technically challenged, it's not even funny. So I would need help from a younger or more techno-savvy person to to help with that, and with the website for that, or not the website, the Facebook page. So let me know. Show up on the 10th. If you can't stay for an hour or whatever and do postcards, just show up, approach me, say I'd like to help, give me your information, and we can get going from there. And Saturday, come out to the Pride Fest. It's going to be terrific. There's going to be a lot of people there. It's at Town Center, 1 to 6. 1 to 6, yes. We will have a blue and white canopy, so look for us. And the Democrats are going to be there as well. So that'll be fun. And June 14th, please come out and sign wave in front of Target or over there by Old Kings. Bring a hat, please. Bring water. It's going to be hot.
And
It's
that's
always
at like
hot. It's 11
noon,
to 12.
11 to 12?
11 to 12. We bumped it up a little bit, hoping not to get there in the dead of the heat, but it's always going to be hot in Florida, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So please just come out. And if you can't stand for an hour, you don't have to stay a full hour. Bring a chair. There's a little bit of trees in one area where you can sit down and still people will see you waving your signs. And we've always had good
We've had
response from
phenomenal
people.
turnouts.
Yeah.
The one thing I want to remind people is when you are flag waving, showing your resistance, sharing with people how you feel, be aware of your surroundings, especially over at the Old Kings intersection. A lot of traffic, and we're trying to make sure that people stand a foot or two off of the curb to be safe, to be aware. Every day we're seeing and hearing how protesters are interfacing. What was that crazy thing in Colorado where a guy was burning
Yes.
protesters? And I
With
mean,
a
it was just
flamethrower.
every day.
Yeah.
And so I know that the sheriff's office has reached out to Janet for the DEC and said, look, you're fully supported and able to go out and do this. We respect your First Amendment, but be aware of your surroundings. Don't get too close to the road and minimize your interactions with people driving by. It's for your safety and the safety of those people around you. So that is my my safety note for the day. And we'll be out there. I'll be out there as a retired veteran. I feel that $40-50 million for a parade when my fellow vets can't get services, can't be seen by doctors, and are struggling. It makes no sense to me, but that's my opinion. And so come out, be strong, but definitely you need to see Indivisible as indivisible as a place to find information, a place to find activities and things that are going around here in Flagler County, because it's going to be more and more as we grow. And at the city and having that events, any further things out going on that you guys are passionate about?
Well, we have every Sunday, we have a bridge crossing at Wadsworth Park over to Flagler Beach. It's kind of on your own kind of thing at 9 o'clock in the morning. We don't have a theme, whatever you're passionate about, whatever you want to talk about, whatever sign you want to wave. They just walk the bridge.
That's the 100 bridge that goes over the ICW into Flagler Beach. Okay.
Yeah, into Flagler Beach.
Nice.
And then once you get over there, you can check out some of the local breakfast bars and the new
hotel restaurant with no parking.
Oh yeah, well that's an issue. But they were going to park underneath it, but
yeah, it didn't really happen.
It turned
did
out
it?
to be a problem, maybe with the water.
Maybe.
Who knows? But yeah, and I think it's been well attended.
Awesome.
Beyond that, we're waiting for information from the mother group of Indivisible about what's going on.
And who would that?
That's indivisible.org.
Oh, the national
group.
The national group to organize and things.
They put things out. They give us information. We have a welcome packet we got. Welcome to Indivisible. This is what we are. This is what we do. This is on our Facebook page under files if you want to look at it.
Well, and you'll have a lot of that stuff over at the Pride Fest.
Right, we'll have information as well on that.
Yeah, it's important. There are so many activities people like yourself and others that are off the couch, in the face, being active to let people know that I have this belief there's a lot more liberal-minded people in this area that aren't happy. They don't like what's going on. They haven't been touched yet, but
That's
it's
right.
only going to be a matter of time
Sure.
before they reach out and they get touched. And we're trying to provide an outlet for them to get excited to stand there and just put up a piece of artwork of how you feel about what's going on for an hour. And you're right, the turnout has been really amazing. And it's good. So any final thoughts, things you want to share, anything you want to empower people to know your passion?
Well, my big thing is the immigration issue, because when I went down to the homestead and saw those kids, they were between 12 and 18, in a fenced-in area where they were supposed to be able to play ball with maybe a couple soccer balls, no hats. They didn't give them hats to wear. It's Homestead, Florida is about as far south as you can get. You know, that was horrible. And to know that they had been separated from their parents and their families is just heartbreaking. And it's happening again. There's this child who's being sent away, and she needs medical care here in the United States. She's 4 years old. You mean to tell me none of those people in Congress have a heart? Come on, people.
And she's a citizen.
Yes.
She was born here.
She was born here.
She has the same rights as you and I. And, you know, I was reading something recently, and it was talking about the loss of empathy in this country. And that's so sad. That's so not the America that I live in and that I want. The giving and the volunteerism, the passions that we have to participate and to understand that we're only as strong as the activity that we have with you guys. So, yeah. Well, Sandi, anything else?
No, I
You're
don't
good?
think so.
Well, thanks so much for coming.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, and it's really important that we share opportunities and actions and places where people can volunteer. And hopefully you'll get the help that you're looking for. They're just around the corner. I find the challenge of connecting talent to the people that are needed is exciting. And there's someone out there, there's a group of people out there that are going to watch this or hear about it or walk by your booth and think, oh, I'm a retired IT guy, or I'm a retired data guy, and I've got some time to kill. I'd love to get in there and help you. Because
It's a great way for somebody who doesn't want to stand out in the heat for an hour to be able to help us out, and where it's very much needed.
well, and it's an impact. I believe you can talk to your neighbor, or you can talk to 100 people, or you can talk to 1,000 people. The message is still the same, and the growth is there. So thanks for spending some time with me.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you out there at the Pride Festival. I want all of us to get motivated and be aware of the things that are going on in this city, and it's available. So with that, I want to thank you guys for coming today. Enjoyed speaking with you. Remember, like and subscribe. We're growing this channel every day. So see you next time.